Tonight, we're diving into a story where a single, overlooked detail turned a nightmare into a fight for justice. This is the case of Lex Chen, a 38-year-old systems administrator whose life was nearly destroyed by a 5-second lie. It started with something mundane, a minor fender bender on a quiet highway. Lex had already exchanged insurance details with the other driver when Officer Mike Reynolds arrived. But instead of focusing on the accident, Reynolds immediately became hostile, grilling Lex with aggressive questions. Lex, a calm and methodical person, simply tried to explain he was following procedure. This calm demeanor seemed to infuriate Officer Reynolds. He ordered Lex to move away from his car. As Lex turned to obey, Reynolds grabbed him. "You're resisting! Stop fighting!" he shouted, even though Lex was making no move to resist at all. In a shocking display of force, Reynolds twisted Lex's arm, slammed him against the hood of his own car, and then threw him to the ground. Lex was left with a sprained shoulder and cuts on his face. He was then arrested and charged with assaulting an officer and obstruction of justice. In his official report, Officer Reynolds painted a completely different picture. He claimed Lex was the aggressor and that the takedown was necessary. The key evidence, the dashcam footage. But there was a problem. A crucial 5-second gap appeared in the recording, exactly at the moment Reynolds initiated the physical contact. Reynolds chalked it up to a system anomaly, a convenient technical glitch. His body-worn camera was also obstructed at the perfect time. The footage the prosecution presented only showed the aftermath. Lex on the ground, struggling to breathe while being handcuffed, which they used to argue he had been resisting. It seemed like an open and shut case, with Lex's word against a police officer's report and doctored footage. But Reynolds didn't know one crucial thing about Lex. He was a dedicated amateur photographer. During the initial consultation, Lex's lawyer asked if he had any personal cameras in his car. A light bulb went off. Lex remembered his small, dash-mounted action camera. He wasn't recording video in the traditional sense. He used it to capture time-lapse footage of his drive, staking one high-resolution, still image every half-second. This was the breakthrough they needed. The events team retrieved the memory card. On it were 15 high-resolution still photos that perfectly covered the 5-second glitch from the officer's dashcam. They took these individual frames and stitched them together, creating a stop-motion animation of the entire event. By syncing these images with the officer's audio, which had recorded continuously without any gaps, they created a powerful, undeniable reconstruction of the truth. The animation clearly showed Officer Reynolds grabbing an unsuspecting Lex first, and that Lex's movements were purely a reaction to being suddenly attacked. But they didn't stop there. A digital forensics expert was brought in to analyze the official police dashcam file. The expert's testimony was a bombshell. The so-called glitch wasn't a random system error. It was a manual trigger event. The data showed that someone had deliberately pressed a function, likely a privacy or pause recording button on the camera's console. Officer Reynolds hadn't just gotten lucky with a glitch. He had intentionally corrupted the evidence to hide his own misconduct. To seal the deal, the other driver from the fender-bender took the stand. Their testimony perfectly aligned with Lex's time-lapse photos, confirming that they saw the officer initiate the unprovoked aggression. In the courtroom, the prosecution's case crumbled. The combination of Lex's time-lapse reconstruction and the forensic proof of evidence tampering was devastating. The narrative of a system anomaly was exposed as a blatant lie. The outcome was a total victory for the truth. All charges against Lex Chen were immediately dropped. Officer Mike Reynolds was fired and faced charges of gross misconduct, felony battery, and tampering with evidence. But Lex's journey didn't end there. He won a significant civil settlement, and he used that money to create a community program. This program teaches ordinary citizens how to legally and effectively document interactions using the technology they already own, empowering them to protect themselves. Because of this case, the police department was forced to implement a new, stricter protocol. Officers are now prohibited from accessing or pausing their body-worn or dashcam recording functions once an interaction has begun. This policy change ensures evidence, integrity, and aims to prevent another case like Lex S from ever happening again. It's a powerful reminder that in our digital world, sometimes the smallest, overlooked camera can be the most powerful tool for justice. Thank you so much for joining me for this incredible story, too. If you found this case as compelling as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into cases where technology and truth collide. We'll see you in the next video.